Let's try this.
Excellent.
So, first episode, mate. I hope that you've thought of something to say because I know what we're like. As soon as we start chatting, we sort of get into things.
I think it's one of those things, when you go on a podcast, you expect it to be really structured.
Yeah.
But I know you, and I know that...
Is that an insult straight away?
I knew that it wouldn't be. That's the thing. So, yeah, I don't have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I probably do have a lot to talk about, but yeah, whether there's a lot that I'm going to sit here and ramble about for 30 minutes is another question.
Well, that's why I thought actually you'd be a good guest for the first one, because we've met a few times and it was just randomly through a chamber event. But I don't think we've actually ever spoke business. We've only ever really spoke as what your personality's like. Obviously, very shy and retired.
Yep.
And I find that a lot more interesting than the sales pitch. Like, I'm really quite interested in who you are as a person rather than who you are as your role is sales, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, have you always been the loud, sort of friendly, a little bit attention grabbing, I'd say. Were you like that at school?
I think that's the thing. It's not even attention seeking. I think I've been very comfortable just to be who I am. Yeah. And I know that rubs up at people the wrong way, especially in the business circles that we're in as well. And I think when you go to a networking event, there's 50 businesses in the room and you expect it to be business talk.
Yeah.
But I think the realists in the room know that that's not how business gets done.
Yeah.
You don't do business with people you don't like. And if you like me and you like my personality and the way I come across, then brilliant. And if you don't, that's fine as well. I've sort of lived, not a mantra, but my mum always said, the people that like you will love you, and the people that don't, you don't need to worry about.
Yeah.
And nice. I think, do you know what? Then I'm not going to go to a networking event. I'm not going to go to a business meeting and be some pared down version of myself. If I'm going to be silly, if I'm going to tell inappropriate jokes, then the people that get that are going to gravitate towards me, and we'll get on just fine.
Yeah. I think that's what sort of made me feel comfortable chatting to you straight away. It wasn't a standing in front of each other doing a pitch for what it is you do. It was those inappropriate comments, and I was like, he's all right. And from that, we've developed a bit of a friendship, I found a LinkedIn community as well that maybe I was sort of sitting on the outside of before, and now just sort of, you're pretty big on LinkedIn, aren't you?
No, do you know what? I wouldn't say so.
I think you've probably got a LinkedIn fanboy t-shirt underneath that, underneath your hoodie.
I think when you're in your own little world, I think you're just posting things that sort of make sense to you, make you happy. You think, do you know what? People might engage with that. I'm definitely not an influencer. I'm definitely not anything like that. I just, funnily enough, I like my job and I like posting about it.
Yeah.
It's the same reason I like networking, because I'm very often that different face in the room.
You're a people person, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to say I like people, but I understand people.
Okay.
And I think when people sit down and have a chat, I like to think people understand me and why I do what I do. But yeah, no, I just get on with people. You know, I like what makes people tick. I like making people laugh. I like making people feel comfortable.
Yeah, and that's definitely how I've sort of found meeting you, and also being introduced to other people around what I guess is not your circle, but the circle you're in. You find like-minded people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You surround yourself with people that you get on with, that you like, that get your sense of humour. And I found a lot of people through networking that I necessarily wouldn't have otherwise. Do you know, they're not people who I would have seeked out. But there's been certain events that I've been to, even to the more structured networking events, where people that have the same sense of humour or the same outlook on life, and you become friends with them, and you think, I didn't see that come in. You know, I've seen the stuff that you post on LinkedIn, the way that you conduct yourself. You're relatively normal. But now that I've got to know you a little bit
relatively,
yeah.
It's a good word.
Yeah.
Good qualifier.
It is a good I like a good qualifier.
Have you always been like that? Have you always been the social, not, I guess, like a little social hub? Were you like that at school? Were you shy? Were you?
No, to be honest, I mean, at school, I was quite bright. I always did really well in my exams. I was in the top set for everything at school. But I wasn't, a nerdy, geeky kid. I absolutely loved my sports. I was on the football team, the rugby team. But then I'd also get on with, I suppose, the people that you call the social outcast as well.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I was a nerd. I was a jock. I was, do you know what I mean? I just got on with everyone. I didn't care about your social, economic background. You don't think about that sort of stuff when you're a kid. I don't think about it now. I just had, I suppose, a lot of friends, people that I've still got to this day as friends.
Yeah.
That I've met either through sports or through school or through, extracurricular activities. And I suppose I've tried to keep that going as much as I can as an adult, especially, like you say, in our circles that we operate in as business people as well. Because going to a networking event for your first time, oh God, it's so daunting.
You just walk in the room, don't you?
Yeah.
Shit, it's people.
Yeah, and then they turn around and they're like, well, that's someone new. Who are they? What do they do?
It's like the Wild West, sort of somebody walks into a bar, isn't it?
You almost expect...
You go through those flappy doors and it's like, the business cards being thrown at you, people are trying to pitch, and you're like, I'm not even in the room yet.
Yeah, which is why more often than not, I'll take myself to the side and people will see that I'm having a laugh, having a good conversation, and people will gravitate towards that. Yeah. And they'll say, do you mind if I just come and hang out with you for a minute? Because that's a bit much. Yeah, sure.
Do you think that sort of come from maybe you're saying you did a lot of team sports and stuff during when you were younger?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, I was a goalkeeper. I mean, I have been for my sporting career, as it were. And obviously goalkeeper's naturally crazy anyway. But it's quite a solitary position. You sort of find yourself on the outskirts of stuff. But that means that you can take in a lot.
Yeah.
It means that you stand out the way and you say, well, actually, they've got something really good going on over there. They're working really well together. Let's try and harbour that relationship. And I try and do the same thing at networking. Like I say, I've surrounded myself with some really great people. And I want people to join in on that. I want them to understand that that's what networking is about. It's not handing out 50,000 business cards and getting sales the next day.
I always forget my business cards. So I've got a lovely box of them at the home office.
And you've got great business cards as well.
I do like my business cards and I always forget them. It's either that or I forget a pen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of, we've spoke before, you're, say ADHD.
ADHD,
You've got ADHD and you're doing well, you didn't even bring your fidget thing.
I didn't. No.
So instead you're smacking the table, which is going to fuck up the audio. So that's his subtle warning in there. So you're ADHD, I'm dyslexic. And throughout school, I think that's always been positioned as a negative. You're got this diagnosis, so you must be like this. And actually it doesn't really work that way, does it?
No, and it was always very much, well, you're different. You don't fit in with the status quo. You must be disruptive.
Yeah.
So let's move you to the side. Let's focus on the 29 other people that are normal presenting, and you can go and do your own thing.
Which, as I'm sure we all know, teachers, it's got to be hard because their job role is to get results for as many people in that class.
Oh, it's an impossible job.
Yeah.
I liken it to trying to bath 30 cats at the same time. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, they've got to get 80% of that class qualified. And then there's me who's going, I just don't understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And it's not what they're saying. For me, it's how they're saying it. And then for you, it's just you need more stimulation
I mean, that's the sort of thing, I regularly get, over 90% in a lot of tests.
Right.
And that's because...
Showing off now.
Well, yeah, but you're focused. You have to sit there and you have to do that test. You're not allowed to talk. There are rules set out. And my brain goes, right, no problem. I can't disrupt anyone else in this classroom for this, 1 hour that I'm here.
Yeah.
Right, well, the only thing I can focus on is the test that's in front of me. Let's get it done. Yeah. And then my brain will pick out those bits of information that obviously I've learned at some point. A lot of it will be completely useless, and a lot of the time it will go off on a tangent. But then what failed me was when I'm at home and they say, well, you haven't done any coursework.
Yeah.
Well, no, because my PlayStation and my Xbox are a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Taking a football and going down the park with my friends is more stimulating to me rather than sitting at home and writing a 300-word essay on, why Shakespeare wore a ruffled collar. It's not interesting to me.
Yeah.
And that's why if you look at my career, I've had quite a few different, I suppose, jumps. There's been it's been a different career path than I think most people would have.
Yes.
But that's why I've settled on a job, a career at the moment that I love because I'm allowed that flexibility.
What is the career path that's brought you to where you are now?
I mean, when I first started working, I think like everyone, it was paper round, it was fish and chip shop. But I left school without many qualifications. I got me a GCSEs. I did college and sixth form to sort of no avail. And obviously had a young family. I drove vans, you know, to sort of support them as best I could, and then decided that, no, actually what I wanted to do was healthcare. Cool. And I thought, you know what, I want to use this energy that I've got to try and help people.
Yeah.
I became a qualified pharmacy dispenser.
Cool.
So I can legally hand out drugs, which comes very handy when you've been raised in Wellingborough. And then that was my career for a good few years. And I really, really enjoyed it. You know, sort of handing out medicines, getting to learn people's story of why they're there. And it's not just the people that are unwell, but it's the people that were, for example, addicts, or the people that are picking up prescriptions for family members. You get to know them, their personal stories. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And then I took a brief stint out of that to join the prison service. And it was one of the most harrowing experiences I've ever had in my life.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I am sure there are some absolutely great people that do the job, and there are people that deserve to be commended for doing it. Yeah. It just wasn't for me.
No, it must be tough going in. I've been into a prison once. I was a support worker, and even going to the visitors' room, it's like it's intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the sort of person that gets worried when I go through airport security. What have I left in my bag? And I've never tried a drug stronger than Calpol. So I can't imagine what it's like actually going into the other side of the prison where, you know, as the Kevin and Perry thing, like bigger boys.
Yeah.
Big scary guys. Are in
and
there.
it is. And I think I went in with all the great intentions, and I was like, you know what, I want to make a difference. You know, if there's one person that I managed to talk to there that I never see again, that would be a great win for me, because it means they've turned their life around. And I think within the first week, there was someone there that I recognised from school.
Right.
And that broke my heart. And I thought, you know what, we had the same upbringing, and you've ended up in here. And yeah, I left that after not a long amount of time. I did all the training, but just decided it wasn't for me. And then I went to work in surgery. So I worked in a private hospital, and I worked on the surgical team for a while. And that's one of the most interesting roles I've ever held. I mean, ending the day covered in blood and bits of people. I've seen the inside of more people than I can count. But it was a great learning curve.
Yeah.
And then I said, you know what, let's start nailing down a career. What do I want to do? And I went for an interview with an IT company. And I said, you know what, fixing computers, that would be great. Do you know what I mean? Helping people solve their problems, that's a great career path. That's going to set me up for the next 20 to 30 years. And I sat in this interview with two amazing people, Steve Souch and Siraj Dalakia, who I owe my career to. And they grilled me for half an hour. Yeah. And it was, how do you set up a VPN? You know, how do you partition a VLAN? And I think I sat there with the most blank expression on my face that they'd ever seen. And they said, you really don't know much about fixing computers, do you? And I said, honestly, no. Yeah. And that's when Siraj turned around and he said, but you've got something about you. He said, you're a really likeable guy. He said, I want to give you something. Yeah. I said, I appreciate that. He said, look, let's call you back in a couple of days and we'll see what we can do. And that's when my sales role started. I became business development manager for the IT company. And my career started from there. And that's where I think a lot of people will know me from, networking, because I tried to bring as much of my personality to that role as possible. Yeah,
and that's something that now you do with, it's quite a different sort of company, it's not?
It is, yeah. I don't think there's any company like ours, to be perfectly honest, which I think is what really attracted me to Trapp'd. Yeah. The thought that you get to, you run a company that plays games. And it's
just that thing, isn't it, when you're a kid, like, what do you want to do? Well, I want to play computer games. I want to mess around all the time. And you're told, well, you can't do that. You have to go and do
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a very, very serious role. But yeah, no, it's really nice being that different face in the room, and I've got so much respect for, the accountants, the solicitors, the creatives that come to networking. But I love popping up in the middle and just being, hi, I'm Jake from Trapp'd, and I run escape rooms and rage rooms. Yeah. And people, you can see their ears prick up. You can see them get interested. And then we always have a great conversation about what it is we do and why we do it. And that's what I love.
Because I got shown round for the first time the other day after a networking event. The new Chester estate.
Spellbound at Chester House.
And then you've got new ones being built. And I might have had a sneak peek behind the door. And it's a really cool space.
Yes.
I really like Chester House.
Yeah,
Like,
we're massive fans.
Not just for the size of the muffins at the network event,
Yeah.
which is why I've got the hoodie on and not just a t-shirt.
Yeah, I get that.
I did eat too, which I'm trying to eat healthy. I've started the gym and I ate 2 of those muffins. It was mega.
They had blueberries in. They're practically fruit.
Salad.
That's fine.
Yeah, fruit salad.
I'm down with that.
But you've got the place at Chester House. You've got the van.
Yep.
And you've got the new Destroyed coming.
Yes.
March 19th.
So on March the 19th,
March 19th,
we are hosting our launch day, our open day for the brand new Rage Hub that we've built in Wellingborough. So very excited about that.
And you've got Rage Rooms already, haven't you?
Yeah, so Rage Rooms are a concept we've been doing for quite a few years now. So we've got them in Corby, Billing, Aquadrome and Wellingborough. Cool. And they have been so popular that we've almost been forced to expand.
Yeah.
Because we were seeing slots booked for months in advance.
There's a lot of angry people out there.
Yeah, and it's something we've tried to capitalise on, really. I mean, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, I mean, you couldn't see the wood for the trees. There were so many bookings that I had to tell people, no, you're going to have to book later in the year if you want to be seen. Which is why we've built 5 Rage Rooms in our first ever Rage Hub in Wellingborough. So,
for people who don't know what they are,
yep.
Like, give us a little overview of what they are and who goes there.
See, this is the really easy part of my job because people go, Rage Room, what's that? And I go, we put you in a room and you smash stuff. And then people go, oh, right, yeah, no, I get it.
It's like being back in the prison.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, no, that's the thing. So what we do is we partner with IT companies, local bars and clubs who donate us items to smash. And essentially, these are things that are never going to be used again. So a printer that literally cannot be repaired. Before it gets recycled, as it should do, we take it on one last journey. We give it one last purpose
a little
in its lifetime.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sending it out the good way.
A proper funeral, which is being completely obliterated by metal poles and baseball bats.
My brain makes pictures, and one of the things you told me before, which I hadn't even thought of, was the amount of people you don't expect to be in a Rage Room. Like, you get the little old lady who's just smashing that printer to bits.
That's the thing. It's a destination for anyone and everyone. So yeah, of course, we've had that picture that you build in your brain where it's, perhaps a gentleman who really wants to smash something. Yeah, absolutely. But we've worked with NHS groups. We've worked with survivors of abuse. We're currently working with the Never Alone Project, who are based in Northamptonshire. They deal with people that are going through bereavement. And maybe they don't have an outlet. You don't want to be angry at your spouse, your friends and family. You don't want to shout at some randomer on the street. You don't want to be walking across the office with a tray of tea and coffee. You just think, what if I did? We let you live that out in our rooms, all in a completely safe environment. We give you PPE. You get to wear a visor, overalls, steel toe cap boots, gloves. You're always there with a trained member of staff. But essentially, that's it. We let you smash to your heart's content.
Like, just get that anger out, get that frustration out.
Yes.
I mean, every time I've used a printer, I wanted to do that. So
that's why they're one of our most popular items. It's surprising. That and glass bottles.
Do you have to pre-book like a printer? Like, I hate them.
No, printers are always available. We partner with some amazing IT companies, and they just like, we've got a dozen for you. Yeah. We've got dozens, and they turn up on the back of a lorry, and we unload them. They're a very popular item.
And is that, you mentioned before that you've been going around all the local pubs, which as a guy who doesn't drink, it's just like wandering in and going, oh, I haven't been here before. But you want old glassware, you want old printers, you want stuff that people would like to smash up that maybe people are going to just take to the tip or just chuck away anyway.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, for us, if we can keep as much out of landfill as possible, that's an amazing cause. Yeah. I've been going to pubs and clubs in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, like you say, I don't drink, but I'm going in and just sort of saying, look, all these used bottles that you've got at the end of the day, rather than having someone that has to come and pick them up, take them for recycling, please let me take them. We'll smash them and we'll make sure they get recycled instead.
Yeah.
Anyone that's got items that they think would be suitable. I've been going into local charity shops and saying, look, have you been donated any items that you just can't sell on the shop floor? Yeah. Has that house clearance come in and you've been given a Hoover from the 1950s that obviously isn't going to run? Well, do you know what? I'll have it. We'll smash it. It's not a problem.
Like, there's got to be a lot of stuff out there, isn't it? Like, I'm just thinking to my my attic and the back of my shed, there's got to be stuff in there that I'm like, I'll deal with that later. And actually, it might be fun just to bring along and give it.
I mean, it's great because
either smash it up myself or donate as well if I do a booking.
I've been renovating my house recently, and I've got old TVs and stuff like that. I've been, I can just put them in the back of my car and take them to work.
Yeah,
and there's very few places that you work at that can do that. So
yeah, it's quite a nice little perk of the job.
It is, yeah, I like it.
Like, what's next then for you? Like, what is it what do you want to be doing long term? Obviously, you love this role. You can see every time you talk about it. What do you want to carry on doing? What is it that gets you up in the morning? What is it that
honestly, it is this. It's being that, not just that different voice at a networking event, it's being that outlet for a lot of different groups.
Yeah.
And like I say, speaking with people today like the Never Alone Project, speaking with people like Harry's Rainbow and Milton Keynes, speaking to a lot of the NHS groups that I've worked with, it's such a different space for people. Yeah. You don't realise the amount of like genuine conversations that you have when you just work for a games company. And it's so unusual because you think we just get people in to play games, but it's more than that.
Yeah.
We're a different team building event. There's so many people that go, I say, oh, what have you done for your last team building event? Oh, we went out for drinks. Okay, that's fine. What about the people that don't drink? Oh, they probably didn't enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so what else? Oh, well, we've been out for a meal. Okay, no problem. But there's a lot of people that kind of don't actually enjoy either eating in front of other people or socialising in that way. What else could you do?
Just open it up a little bit, add a bit of difference, a different environment for people, and let them see the other side.
That's the thing, and come and yes, play a game as it were, but build a stronger connection with your team. There's people in your team that maybe don't have a lot of responsibility in the office, but you put them in that environment and they can see things differently. I mean, people like yourself, people like we've mentioned Sam Sayer.
Yeah,
they're creatives.
Yeah,
and they get into that room and they say, well, hang on a minute. I can see the storyline here.
Yeah,
I can see the theme.
It's not a one thing at a time. It's right. If I was planning this, I'm not going to do, the same sort of, problem because it's repetitive.
Yep.
And for me, not as find it boring because there's obviously going to be differences in there in the story. But for me, like even watching a film, I'm like, right, they've shown that person a lot. They're going to die.
Yeah.
like they've made us like them. They're going.
And it's exactly that. There's so many people that can see that storyline coming. And more often than not, it's those people that are neurodiverse.
Yeah.
They can see the patterns in things and they'll say, well, hang on a minute. There was a bit of forewarning in that. And then they'll come into our rooms and go, oh, hang on a minute. No, they mentioned that date of birth at the start.
Why?
Well,
why would they just
that could be a clue, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And you see people that are perhaps, for example, managers, CEOs, people that don't problem solve a lot anymore.
Yeah.
And they're able to take a step back and say, you know what, you run with that.
Yeah.
And then you can take that. It's a transferable skill that you can take into the office the next day.
Yeah.
And say, hang on a minute, you handled yourself so well yesterday. It was something that I hadn't thought of. I've got a problem coming up with a potential client. Do you think you can have a look at it for me?
Yeah. Can you you looked at things in a different way than I did.
Yep.
And there was actually a really good post on LinkedIn the other day from Tom Cliff, who runs Cafe Trek.
Yep.
And in that, he'd mentioned, what was the saying? What was it? It was something about looking at the way that people were different. I thought he was going to say needs, but what it was actually it was different, like viewpoints.
Yeah.
And I fell into this. Like, I actually commented and I put another post because I fell into the same trap. I was like, I'm so used to being told that the way I think is wrong that actually trying to think now and what it is I'm good at. Sometimes I'm like, no, I can't do that. So being in a situation like that where somebody else can see, you might not want to talk up in the office and come out with an idea because you're told all the time going, oh, you're the ideas person, but let us deal with this now.
Yeah.
Like, let the bosses do their thing.
And that's why I love meeting so many new people at networking and stuff. I mean, like yourself, you say, oh, I have dyslexia. And there's so many people that would be like, well, that's what defines me. I've got dyslexia. I've been told for so many years that it's going to hold me back. Well, hang on a minute. Yes, you might have dyslexia. Words might look a bit jumbled to you.
Yeah.
Fully understand that. But what are you good at?
That's the thing. Like, it's only been the last few years where I've really not jumped into, but acknowledged and accepted probably the dyslexia. Because all through school, you're told you can't do this, you can't learn, all of that. And it's like, the issue is, it's not that I can't learn, it's that I don't learn in the same ways as other people do.
Yeah.
And now I use that as a benefit. So with the filmmaking and with the photography and now with the podcasting and stuff that we do, I know that I don't learn the same way as everyone else. So I bring that in as a tool when creating content for other brands. It's like, you're not, unless you're talking to everybody and looking in a way of going, does that alienate anybody? And you can't always be perfect, but if you've just switched on that little part of your brain that goes, let's just try and acknowledge this, you can do a lot more.
Yeah.
And I've really only basically got the confidence in myself over the last couple of years to be able to just go, this is what I do, this is what I'm good at. And if you don't want it, that's fine. Like, there's plenty of fantastic people out there who are really good at creating content and photography, video business and stuff that do it their way. But I really want to work with people who do it my way.
Yep.
People who appreciate what I bring to the table. And it really sounds like that's what you found at Trapp'd.
Yes. Yeah. And even down to, the Games Masters and the Rage Masters that work there as well.
Which have really cool job titles.
Oh, they're the greatest job titles in the world. It's unbelievable. But when you go into work and you see someone that, like I said, they may not think the same way as you do.
Yeah.
But they're still creative and they're bubbly and they're fun to be with. Do you know what I mean? We're literally spending the whole day playing games and creating a really great environment for the people that come and visit us.
Yeah.
There's that time when people are there, perhaps they're a bit, trepidatious, they're a little bit worried about what's going to happen. Maybe it's their first time ever doing an escape room.
Yeah, I've never done one.
Yeah.
I've never actually done one. I've seen bits about them online, and I've seen now inside your place.
Yeah.
But haven't walked through that door and gone, I'm going to be a problem solver and do this with a team. Mostly because I work on my own.
There is that,
It's a really small Christmas party. It's just me with a mince pie.
Yeah, and our Games Masters bring that hype as well.
Yeah.
What they're really good at is feeding off the vibe of a group.
Yeah.
So they'll either be there to absolutely hype them up and get them really ready for it, or they're there to chill them out and calm them down and say, right, you're going into this environment. This is what you need to do. Let's get on it. And then, they're monitoring the group throughout the whole hour that they're in there. They're giving them clues and hints. And, at the end of the day, we would love every team to complete an escape room.
Yeah.
We want them to have that sense of achievement.
It has to be a challenge,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Doesn't always happen, obviously.
No. Yeah.
But then when you come out and you go, oh, do you know what? If we'd have solved that earlier, now that I've seen it, and you see that the cogs clicking and people's faces light up when they go, do you know what? I've got it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, brilliant. We'd love you to come back and try another one. And they're into it and they're sold. And it's amazing.
And the people, the Games Masters and Rage Masters, what sort of people do you who do you hire? Like, who is it? Like,
so if I were to do you a description or an e-fit of a typical Games Master and Rage Master, I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't. So we've got, 19-year-olds fresh out of college. It's their first ever job, but they've absolutely excelled in it and absolutely loved it because they get what it's about.
Yeah.
We've got people that are maybe, midway through their career that wanted something a little bit different. They wanted, something that wasn't the 9 to 5, but they absolutely love entertaining people. We've got people that are in their 20s and 30s that think, I just love games.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Where else can I work that gives me the freedom to play games and have fun?
People who just want to enjoy their work.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I like to think we've created a culture that we all really do enjoy what we do. Yeah. It's a very open place to work. We're always floating ideas around each other. We ask for feedback when we're creating new rooms. And it's, hang on, guys, what do you think would be a great theme? What would be a great title? Yeah. What puzzles do you want to see? What's worked well in another room that hasn't perhaps worked well in something else?
Yeah.
Is there something we can, merge ideas together? What would be a great setting for this? And people come and we've got that freedom to express.
Yeah.
And people go, hang on a minute, what about this? What about that idea? Oh, I loved when we had that in the other branch. Can we bring that into it? And people get really excited.
Yeah.
And that's what you get by having such a diverse range of people.
Yeah.
Like I say, from teenagers all the way up to, 50s and 60s, we've got everyone working for us.
And that's like often what gets left out of a lot of companies is, like you say, you've got your 19-year-olds and you've got your 30-year-olds, and I don't know how your company, but often we work with people. You got directors and company owners, maybe the 50s and 60s, and they have their ways of doing things, but actually times have changed massively in the last few years. Since you've got social media, you've got TikTok, you've got all these things. And so having an opinion from a 19-year-old who you literally have to drag their phone off them to stop them being on TikTok. Well, why not listen to them and find out what works for them for marketing and advertising?
And that is exactly what we do. So our staff have the freedom to create, for example, TikTok content.
Cool.
And we'll talk about it together. Yeah. And they'll say, look, there's a sound that's trending at the moment. I think we could do this idea. Okay, go and film it. Let's get it filmed in branch now.
Yeah.
Post it to the group. If it's a great idea, yeah, we'll get it out there. You know, and we've got schedules for people to post. And we sort of say, look, you know, if you want to post on a Wednesday, you know, because you're in branch and you've got a great idea, let's get that done.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a real creative process where, you know, I'm not going to say I'm the most creative person. I probably don't understand a lot of social media nowadays. It breaks my heart to say that, but I'm 35 next week and I'm happy to let it go. But people understand the trends on TikTok and what's popular and what isn't. Yeah. And as long as it fits in with our company morals and it's a great idea, yeah, we'll run with it.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's the other important thing as well is, like you said, you're 35, you've got people in 19, but you've got that thing of going, this is our company morals. There's so many companies who just go, oh, it's social media, give it to, you know, the young intern, give it to the new hire, give it to them, they're young. It's like, but that's still, you're probably the biggest marketing tool going out to the most people, and you're giving it to what is the least qualified person to speak for your company. So if you wouldn't put somebody on a stage and get them to do a talk at a corporate event, why would they give them the social media? But if you can give somebody the opportunity to say, look, you understand this, but this is what we like to talk about. This is our this is who we are. This is what we stand for. Go with it.
And don't get me wrong, right? They're very loose morals. Essentially, if it gets more eyes on our business, we're pretty happy to do it, bar disparaging groups and being wholly offensive. But as long as we think it's, as long as we think it's fun or funny. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people forget that. You go into business, obviously you want your company to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I think so many people forget about that personal touch. You know, I can see 1,000 LinkedIn posts a day, which are, this is my business, this is what
I think
we do.
I see 1,000 LinkedIn posts from you a day.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I get that. But then it's like, yeah, but why?
Yeah.
What do you bring to it?
Yeah.
And if your company, for example, writes wills, fantastic, great cause. Why do you do it?
Yes.
Because you want to bring peace of mind to those people after they're gone to make sure their family have got closure. Brilliant. I understand that now.
It's like the insurance thing, isn't it? Everybody hates insurance until you need it.
Yeah.
So a good insurance person doesn't sell you the cheapest policy. They sell you the cheapest policy that fits your needs.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't look at the surrounding area of what is a job description.
Yeah.
It's not about what it says on the tin. It's what that person does, how they help, the results that they get. And
that's why I remember being a young salesperson and thinking there's a one size fits all.
Because there you've got probably the most boring title within your business, haven't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
From like a games master to
sales executive. Yeah. Yeah, and that sucks, and I will be bringing that up at my next review.
You didn't call it business cards.
Yeah, but when you're young, and there's certain things where you think, well, that's the most expensive product on the market. It must be the best. Therefore, everyone will want it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sell everyone that product.
Yeah.
But then when you
10%.
When you strip it back and you actually look at it, it's hang on a minute. This is the best product for that person. Yeah. Will it make me as much money? No. But will it put their trust in me for the future so that next time they want a product,
will the customer be happy?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. And that's why, what we do, we work with teams of all sizes. Does it work for everyone? I'd like to say actually it does. Yeah. There's very few people that can't get something out of our escape or rage rooms. But if you didn't, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I fully understand that. Don't worry about it.
But when you do something you love, it's not for everybody. Because if not, nobody would actually love it. Everyone would just be like, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's going to hate it. Somebody's going to turn up there and be like, it's really not for me. Yeah. I don't want to be in front of everybody smashing stuff up. Like, cool. Because there will be somebody who goes, I needed that.
Yeah.
And the same.
And that's absolutely fine. Yeah. And that's why everyone that comes to our branch, we try and give them a TripAdvisor review card.
Right, cool.
And we say to them, we genuinely want your feedback.
Yeah.
We want to know the experience, how well you got on, because we want to continually improve. And I'm very thankful that we're actually rated 5 stars for all our branches on TripAdvisor, we've got a 2023 Traveller's Choice Award for every single branch. You know, people are saying, hang on, Trapp'd are great and you guys should go there. And that's amazing for us.
That's
but
brilliant.
we want all the feedback. We want to know where we can improve, because you can't rest on your laurels anymore.
No.
And there's little niches, little tricks and tips and things that you can do better always. And if we can embrace that, you know, we're going to kill it for the next 5-10 years coming.
Like, everybody feels that feedback is a bad thing, like, or a criticism. It's like, it's not. It just means that I can sort of say, oh, is this something, are they correct? Or is this a decision we've been made, like that we've actually made? Or have we not even thought about this? And it gives you the opportunity, when going back to what you were saying, your company morals, if somebody feeds back something and you're going, we've never even considered that because it hasn't it's just not something that fits anybody who's come through the door yet. Let's look at it. Let's make a decision on this. Is this something we want to change, or is this something actually we go, they were just the wrong fit for us? And I think that's the other advantage of being open and having different people there. That the more people you get through the door, the better.
Yep.
But criticism isn't bad, or feedback isn't bad. It's the way that people take it.
Yeah, and the way that it's given as well. Feedback is great. Criticism is fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's constructive, as long as there's an outcome. What I always say is, don't bring me a problem. Bring me a problem with a solution. So, you know, hang on a minute, this isn't working for us. Have we thought about trying? Because then it shows me at least you've thought about a potential solve.
Yeah.
And that's why...
And that's on the staff level, isn't it? That's not, that's not our customer. It's not a customer coming in.
Like, I'd never put it on the customer to come up with a solution. But if they've got a potential solution to a problem, please, by all means. But that's why we're in such a good place at the moment, that we've been able to diversify, that we've been able to run with so many ideas that we have. You know, we were approached by a couple of companies that said, we want to do an escape room, but we can't send all our staff out for a day.
Yeah.
So many people don't want to come out after work. I fully understand that there's a work-life balance. What can we do to bring our escape room to you? And what it boiled down to was, we didn't want to dilute our product in any way.
No.
The rooms that we've created, we're really, really proud of. Yeah. They're a very high spec, and to provide that in the community is really difficult, because any puzzles, any props that we bring would be a tiny part of what we do. And that's why when we had the opportunity to build a mobile escape room, we were like, oh, hang on a minute, this could be something. So we found a truck that was fully convertible, and we made it into an escape room. Yeah. And then we said, well, hang on, how about we take this a step further? What if we brought it to schools? What if we gave schools the option to do an escape room? Cool. Well, that's great, but then we've got to bring something for them. We've got to make it educational. What's the thing that we're all really passionate about? We know actually the environment. What's the biggest piece of environment in the world? The Amazon rainforest. Right, do you know what then? We've got an Amazon rainforest thing that teaches kids about the ecosystem, about the animals that live there. And then we lead them on an escape room through the Amazon rainforest. And then we said, that's great. Can we take it a step further? Well, hang on a minute. Why don't we donate to charity? So let's partner with the Rainforest Trust UK, and we'll donate to them. Fantastic. So for every school that we go to, they play a part in us donating to the Rainforest Trust UK.
Brilliant.
And it's that evolution of ideas that people have chipped in on, that we've been able to go, it's gone from this to now it's this and this and this. Yeah. And now it's this great thing that we bring out to so many people. And that's what we're really passionate about.
Everything, like, you might not even realise it, but everything you've spoke about, it comes back to community. Like, it always comes back to people. Like, even what you were saying just there about, we've got this new product. It wasn't just about the product. You've grown it from being like, so we can get a truck and we can take it to more customers so we get more sales. No, that's not good enough. Right, it needs to benefit. Okay, so how do we do it? Next step, you've gone rainforest. And then again, you've gone, right, how can we improve it even more? Okay, we donate into charity. Like, we can educate, we can do this. It's all about the people. And every single business is all about the people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think, from meeting you and having this chat, is you're all about the people. Your whole job career. Yeah, obviously it wasn't about the computers, because you don't know how to set up a VLAN or whatever it was. It's about the people, and that's your real strength. So when we met at a chamber networking event, and as you said, you're not there to try and sell. You're there to get on with people. Yeah, we had a laugh pretty much straight away. Like I went into it, I think I tried to grab you for a Vox Pops or something, and you were like, just so you know. Like, and I was like, okay, like he's cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, cool.
Thanks very much.
That's all right, mate. I'm not going to overqualify him. But I was like, he's a nice guy, like straight away, and we've got on ever since. I think that's what hopefully a lot of people are going to get from this podcast is they can phone up, they can talk to you, they can meet the team at Trapp'd, and if it's not the right fit,
It's fine.
like that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, it sounds like you've gone so in depth with what you guys want to provide to people. It probably will be the right fit.
Yeah, and that's the hope. And do you know what? I think the big thing as well, I think when you said, oh, Jake, do you want to come and do this podcast? I'm looking for people that really care about Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
That's a massive thing for us.
Yeah.
So all of our 6 branches are in Northamptonshire because we are really passionate about this county, this community. And I think it gets overlooked so many times.
We're so central that the biggest selling point for a lot of people is how close we are to London.
Yeah, I think in a way it works against us. We're too in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, we're too run of the mill, as it were. Who wants to come to Northampton to do something? Well, hang on a minute. Everyone should, because we've got so much going on here. Yeah, all right, we don't have any beaches. I'll fully accept that. You might have to drive an hour and a half to go and find one. That's fine.
Yeah.
But what we've got is a really amazing group of businesses that really, really care, especially in the entertainment community as well. You know, you look at people like the Royal in Derngate that put on some of the most amazing shows. You know, you look at people like the Castle Theatre who do the same, down to, you know, the Laser Maze near us in Wellingborough. You know, there's so many people that we like working with.
Yeah.
Chester House Estate, I mean, good God, 10,000 years of history
It's
that
mad
they've
there,
got on
isn't it?
site.
Yeah.
And you think, what, in Northamptonshire?
Yeah.
And you go, no, in Irchester, in that tiny little village that
One little
no
section
one
of
remembers.
this, amazing.
And you go, well, hang on a minute, why haven't I been there?
Yeah.
Well, let's get everyone there. Let's go to Chester House. Let's find out more about our 10,000 years of history.
Yeah.
Let's research the Romans. Let's go to the Arc Centre and the museum. Let's find out what they've got.
Yeah.
And then, you know what, let's go watch a show at the Royal in Derngate. You know, let's go and see the amazing things that they've got. Well, hang on, I'm not really one for theatre. Well, you know what? We've got 3 amazing sports teams in this county as well.
But I'm not one for theatre. Well, there's a wide variety, and it's that thing of putting a label on things.
Yeah.
Like, until you know everything about it, like you go theatre, I'm not one for a musical, but I've been to dance events, and I can't dance, so it's amazing to watch people do it.
Yep, get that.
Yeah, you can appreciate there's so much more out there once you take a label off of something.
Yeah.
And take it for what's in front of you and not what you imagine it to be.
And that's the thing. There's so many people that have gone, oh, do you know what? Jake, I know you really like sports. I'm not much into it myself. Do you know what? That's fine. But come to Northampton Town for a game because it's a great day out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a good atmosphere. There's loads of people around you that are there for the same thing. You know, we'll have a burger or a pie. We'll speak to loads of people there. You know, you'll see people like Damon Fox out and about. And we'll have a chat with them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look, I really don't like football. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? Let's go to watch the rugby.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
Greatest team sport in the world. Let's go watch the Saints, top of the league at the moment, and have a really great day out. Let's speak to some fantastic people. Oh, do you know what? I want something just a little bit more casual. Well, do you know what? Let's go watch the cricket.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We've got an amazing cricket team here in the county. Oh, I like the cricket, but I want something a bit more up-tempo. Well, let's watch the T20.
Yeah.
You know, we've got all of those things here in this county.
Or even, I'm not into sitting and watching. I need to do something. Go on a walk around the countryside. Like, there's so many amazing
How
places
many parks
around.
have we got here in Northamptonshire?
Like, the amount of community and country parks we've got.
Stanwick Lake, Irchester Park, Sywell. Do you know what I mean? That's 3 I've named that are within 5 minutes of my house.
Yeah.
Do you know? All right, go do some axe throwing with TBV Axe Masters. Do you know what I mean? Great friends of ours.
Yeah.
There's so much that you can do.
And everybody, you were saying, like, you're 5-star on TripAdvisor.
Yep.
And everybody goes on TripAdvisor and they go, oh, we need a day out. We can get the train to Birmingham. And you're like, you don't need to.
No, you don't. No.
We've got stuff here, and hopefully this podcast is going to be a place where people can come along and shout about what we've got in the county. And like, you were here mostly to talk about yourself and about Trapp'd, and you've just mentioned probably a good 10 to 15 other companies, some that are probably going to be competitors for getting your customers. But the strength isn't in individual companies. The strength is in companies in a area like doing something really well.
Yep.
So it grows the reputation for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, we do photography, video, podcasting, and everybody thinks that other content companies are our competition, and they're not. If they do good work, it shows it works.
Yeah.
And then that customer gets a benefit, and it goes off, and they tell their business network, oh, we've had a video made. It got us extra custom. Then it works. It grows, and then people might come to me.
Yeah.
That's the idea, I think, of every industry is do what you do it really well, and help everybody grow. And then that builds the reputation of Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd go even further to say those should be the people that you seek out first at a networking event.
Yeah.
So when I used to work in IT, the first people I'd speak to at an event would be the other IT people there. And I'd say, guys, do you know what? If there's ever a customer that doesn't quite fit us, or if there's a problem we can't solve, can I count on you?
Yeah.
And they'd go, oh my God, that'd be amazing. Do you know what I mean? If there was someone that wanted something a little bit different, I'd say, well, hang on a minute. That's not something we cover.
Yeah.
But I've got a great contact that does that.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. That's amazing. So we're in the entertainment industry primarily. So I'll go seek out those people and I'll say, you know what? People that will come and do your thing will probably want to come and do our thing as well.
Yeah.
And then once people have done what we've got to offer, I want to encourage them to go and try your stuff.
Yeah.
I want people to get out more and enjoy date nights and times with friends and family. Hang on a minute, you've got an amazing offering. I'm going to send people to you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Why would you do that? Because there's enough business to go around.
Yeah.
You know?
I've had the same thing. First, the start of my career as a photography assistant, and mostly working in London on the bigger shoots. And then as you sort of progress your career, like we had a little WhatsApp group, or I think it was maybe Twitter at the time, but somebody would go, oh, I've got a job on. I've just turned up and I've forgot my batteries because they were nervous or something. And somebody would go, I'm shooting 2 streets away. I'll come and grab some, or I'll send somebody to drop some off. And I've had people in my industry that have had their car broken into and their camera's been nicked. And everybody thinks like, oh, you must go, oh, they took a hit. That's good for your business. It's like, no, the first thing I usually do is I've got backups.
Yeah.
Do you need a camera?
Yeah.
Because if the same thing happened to me,
You'd want someone to
I
have
would
your
want someone to
back.
have.
Yeah.
And the same thing for you guys. If something ever happened at your site, the worst thing you ever want to do is say to a customer, we can't help you now. Whereas if you can phone them and you've got your connections at other places and you go, this has happened at our place, I've spoken to X, Y, and Z, they can host you.
Yep.
Are you up for that? You've helped everybody, haven't you, straight away?
Huge thing for us. And you know what I mean? I've seen the weird and wonderful things that you do in your studio.
Well, we weren't going to talk about them.
But that's a bit. If someone came up and said, "Oh, Wayne, I've got a wedding that I need covering."
Yeah, don't do weddings. Don't do that.
There you go.
Oh, no,
but I know you've got contacts
I
and
do,
people that would be more than happy and passionate to do it.
I have some amazing photographers who love shooting weddings, and for me, I'm a bit of a romantic, and I don't want to photograph your wedding. And I think if you've got somebody at your wedding, they should really want to be there. And so I'll put you in touch with some people who they love it.
Yeah.
They're buzzing for it. And for me, it's like, I like businesses. Like my dad's always had his own business. And I think I've probably told you before the PlayStation story. When PlayStation 1 came out, I got a PlayStation for Christmas that year. And so I know that, my dad's company, my mum was working there as well. They must have had like a good November. Because if not, there's no way I was getting a PlayStation. It's never been easy to run a business, and they definitely had their highs and lows. But that year I got a PlayStation. And my thing as a business is I want to help the family behind the business have a good November so they can have a good Christmas.
Yep.
Because it's not about the business. No matter how big or how small it is, people work there. Families are connected to that. And if we can help them grow, then that's what I want to do.
Yep.
And it's not about the money, because everything should have a ROI. And so I'll often, if people contact me and say, oh, we're thinking of doing this, if they haven't got the budget to do it properly, it's a bit like entering a Fiat to race a Ferrari. It's like, just don't.
Yeah.
Like, just go away and here's some tips. And do it yourself, because you'll get a better ROI on doing it yourself to start off with, and then when it grows, come back to me. And I think that's something I want to put out there, is that we're here to help as businesses.
Yep.
We're not here to take your money.
Yeah.
Like, money means that we can do what we do, but I would do this job for free. that's how I got started. And I basically have to do jobs now to pay for new toys like this studio. And so we're happy to hand out tips because if it means you do it well, then it'll grow your business, because that's what I truly believe what I do.
And that's why I'm a massive fan of those stories at networking. You know, you can come up to me and say, look, I'm a lawyer and my business turned over £3 million last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Well done.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Why are you happy that you've turned over £3 million? Oh, well, actually, I've got 2 kids in school that, you know, are really getting into Fortnite, and I'd love to buy them more V-Bucks at the weekend. Amazing. My kids play Fortnite. Great story we've got there.
Like we turned over 3 million, like, by doing corporate stuff, which means that then we can help these people who don't have the money for a family issue or for this, because it means we can do a reduced rate here, or we can do this, we can do that, we can do advice, we can.
Hang on a minute, is that 3 million the bit that excited you the most last year? No, actually, it was the fact that we were able to donate, you know, 25,000 to our chosen charity. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And that was a really good cause, and you really enjoyed that. That's the stories I want people to be telling more often. Do you know, I love your business and what it does. That's great. I want to know the why. I want to know why you get up in the morning to go and do that job. Is it because you're helping people directly, or is it because you're making money to donate indirectly? That's the stories that get me excited. That's why I like people, because everyone's got a really great story like that.
They do, yeah.
So
we're probably going to have to wrap it up in a minute, because even the timer has turned off, because we've been you and me chatting.
It happens.
We're like. At the start, we spoke about networking and stuff like that. And one thing you're really good at, we said, is networking and the sales side that comes off the back of that, probably. What tips have you got for people, you know, that want to either start networking or start in sales? Like, what is it that you've learned along your journey that you can help somebody maybe just starting out?
I think what a lot of people don't understand is sales is seen as a cop-out a lot of the time. A lot of people that don't get qualifications or go into their chosen field end up in sales. And what I'll say is, don't ever let that discourage you. Find something you're passionate about selling, and it doesn't matter what it is. If you want to sell IT products, if you want to sell medical aids, do you know what I mean? If you want to sell phones, whatever it is that you want to sell, be passionate about it. Find your passion and go and sell that. Or if you wake up in the morning and think, hang on a minute, no one else is selling this product, go and do it. Be passionate about what you're selling and put everything into it. It's a really unforgiving job, and it's hard. You know, there's so many aspects to it. My personal ethos is I will never be caught cold calling. I don't like cold calling. There might be 100 phone calls that you make and one person might pick up the phone and be interested. That's fine. I'd rather do it socially. I'd rather post on social media, and the people that really want it come to us. That's what I'm all about. But be passionate about it. Find something you actually really enjoy. Networking is probably my biggest passion outside of that. It's so hard and it is scary, but it doesn't have to be. There'll be groups of people standing in the room talking. Pick your chin up. Go and mingle into a group, and eventually someone will turn around and say, hey, what it is you do. Do your best to be confident and articulate as you can, but kind of don't worry. Everyone's been in that stage at some point. Everyone's been at their first networking event, and it will come naturally eventually. Tell personal stories. No one wants to hear your sales pitch 5 times.
Which we do, there's always somebody who does that.
You get it a lot, but if you tell your personal stories, you become a likable person. Eventually, someone will say, hang on a minute, I know that person that does that thing. I now need that thing. They're the person I'm going to go to because I enjoyed their company and they'll be great to work with. And that's what I'm all about. And then seek out those people that you get on with and ask them for advice. Like I say, I'm at plenty of networking events. Anyone is free to come up to me and say, Jake, it's my first networking event. I don't know what I'm doing. Would you mind introducing me to people? Yes. Yes, I will. Of course I will, because I remember my first time. And it's, you know what I mean? It's fine. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask. And then if you're ever starting out a career and you feel like, I've asked that question, I still don't understand, ask and ask and ask again. People might get annoyed that you're asking the same question 5 times. They're less annoyed about that than if you wing it and get it wrong. Trust me. Just ask and ask and ask. And if you're still not getting it, it means they haven't explained it in the way that makes sense to you.
That's as a dyslexic person, yes, mate.
That's the thing, yeah.
one.
And that's that neurodiverse background, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just means that your brain hasn't been able to process the way that they want it done.
Yeah.
Maybe you need it broken down into smaller steps. Maybe you need it written out. Maybe you're a visual or a tactile learner. Maybe it's see one, do one, and then you'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Explain that to people if you can.
Yeah.
And if you can't, just ask them to bear with you and have patience.
Yeah. Spot on. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for coming along.
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. See you at the next networking event, I guess.
Definitely.
Actually, no, I'll see you 19th of March, Wellingborough.
Yeah, 50 Angel Lane is our Destroyed Rage Hub, 19th of March. We're going to be there from around about 10 till 2. We'll be showcasing everything Rage Room. You can come along, see us smashing some stuff, how we do it safely, and please feel free to ask any and every question that you've got, because we want more people to understand what it is we do and more people to join in and have fun.
Fantastic. And where can people find you before then and after then?
So we're on social media. We're Trapp'd Escape Rooms. You can find us at trapped.com, or if you want to email me directly, it's jake@trapped.com.
Or LinkedIn.
Or LinkedIn. I'm always on there.
You are. Nice one, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Catch you later.
Thank you.
Cut.
A couple of seconds of ambient noise.
There you go. That was good.
That's all right, wasn't it?
Yeah.